Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something that might seem a little unconventional, but I promise you, it's going to change the way you think about your habits and your life. And by the end of this video, you might find yourself looking at one of the most common human behaviors in a completely new way. We're talking about why you might stop engaging in certain habits, like masturbation, and how Stoicism, one of the most powerful philosophies from ancient Greece, can give you the tools to do it. I know it sounds bold. You will stop masturbating. After you know this, but before you dismiss it, hear me out. You see, Stoicism isn't just a philosophy, it's a way of life. It's about mastering your mind, focusing on what you can control, and ultimately creating a life that's intentional and fulfilling. And when you really understand the core principles of Stoicism, it can have a profound impact on how you approach everything, including your own behaviors and impulses. Let's start with the basics. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what is within our control and to accept what is not. So when it comes to something like masturbation, the first step is to recognize that yes, you have control over your actions. You have the power to choose what you do and how often you do it. It's not about repression, it's about recognizing that you can make conscious decisions that align with your values, your goals, and your long-term well-being. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." And this is key when it comes to overcoming any habit or desire. It's not about denying yourself the pleasure or the satisfaction. It's about taking control and understanding why you're doing it in the first place. Are you doing it out of habit? Is it an escape from stress or boredom? Or are you using it to cope with emotions or situations you might not want to face? Think about it. Stoicism encourages us to focus on developing self-discipline and resilience. And self-discipline doesn't just mean avoiding things that are bad for you. It's about making intentional choices based on your highest values. Imagine that every time you feel the urge to act on a desire, you stop and ask yourself, is this the best choice for my personal growth? Is this going to lead me closer to the person I want to be? That's where it gets interesting. By practicing mindfulness and being aware of our thoughts and desires, we start to detach from the automatic responses that so often dictate our actions. And this is where the Stoic concept of virtue comes in. Stoics believe that true happiness isn't found in external pleasures or indulgences. It's found in cultivating virtue, wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation. If you truly want to live a fulfilling life, it's about choosing moderation in all things. That includes how you handle your own impulses. Now let's be clear, this isn't about shaming yourself. It's about understanding that each action you take has consequences, and you have the power to choose those actions consciously. When you give in to every impulse without thinking, you're letting your desires control you. But Stoicism teaches us that we are in control of our choices and we can act based on rational thought, not just reaction. You may be thinking, but isn't this something natural? Doesn't everyone do it? Absolutely. Masturbation is a natural part of being human, but the Stoic question isn't about whether it's right or wrong. It's about how you engage with it. Do you allow yourself to be ruled by every urge and temptation? Or do you have the self-control to say, I choose not to act on this right now because it doesn't serve my higher goals? The Stoics aren't about abstinence for the sake of it. They're about control, wisdom, and using your energy to create the life you truly want. When you start applying Stoic principles to your life, you'll notice something profound. The more you align your actions with your values, the less power these automatic impulses hold over you. You're no longer reacting to life, you're actively creating it. That's true freedom. And as you build this self-mastery, you'll Find that you're not just controlling this one habit. You're learning to control how you respond to everything in your life. Every time you resist temptation or make a deliberate choice that aligns with your greater purpose, you're building muscle for your willpower. When you examine the deeper reasons behind your actions, you can start to break the pattern. And the beauty of Stoicism is that it gives you a toolkit for mastering your own mind. Imagine yourself as a gardener, and your mind is the garden. If you let weeds, like compulsive urges or distractions, grow uncontrollably, they'll take over and choke the growth of more positive habits. But if you tend to your garden, pulling out the weeds when they start to grow, you create space for the flowers of self-discipline, focus, and inner peace to bloom. But let's be honest, breaking a habit isn't easy. There's no quick fix or magic pill that will suddenly make everything better. Stoicism isn't about taking the easy way out. It's about facing the difficult things head-on and choosing how we respond, even when it's tough. It's about saying, I understand that this impulse is a part of me, but I have the power to choose how I respond to it. One of the most powerful Stoic exercises is the practice of self-reflection. When you catch yourself acting on an impulse or desire, instead of feeling guilty or ashamed, simply pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this aligned with the person I want to become? Is this the most effective use of my energy? This moment of pause is where real growth happens, and it's not about perfection, it's about progress. With each decision, no matter how small, you build your character and move closer to the best version of yourself. And let's not forget the Stoic principle of amor fati, which means love of fate. This concept is all about accepting life as it comes, with all its challenges and imperfections. Instead of fighting against our desires or beating ourselves up when we slip up, Stoics teach us to embrace our struggles as opportunities to grow stronger. Every time you resist an urge or make a more mindful choice, you are embracing your fate and using it to become better. Another critical Stoic lesson is that of indifference to external things. This doesn't mean you stop caring about the world or your life. It means you realize that external circumstances, including your own impulses, don't define your happiness. We can't control everything that comes our way, but we can control our reactions. So, when you feel an urge to act in a certain way, remind yourself that your happiness is not tied to giving in to every impulse. You have the power to choose your responses, and in doing so, you take control of your own life. The concept of self-mastery is central to Stoicism. It's about building the strength to choose how we respond to the world, rather than being at the mercy of our immediate reactions. And let's face it, mastering ourselves is a lifelong journey. It's not about beating ourselves up when we fall short. It's about learning from our mistakes and using them as stepping stones toward greater self-control. What does this mean in terms of habits like masturbation? Well, it's simple. Instead of framing it as something bad or wrong, you can see it as an opportunity to practice self-discipline and mindfulness. It's not about shame or guilt. It's about choosing whether or not this particular action helps you live in alignment with your deeper values. When you see these behaviors as choices rather than impulses you have to act on, you begin to reclaim your power. The Stoics also talk a lot about the idea of negative visualization. They would imagine the worst-case scenario, not because they were pessimistic, but because they wanted to be prepared for it. This practice helps you appreciate what you have now and put things into perspective. So, what if you stopped and thought about the long-term effects of engaging in something like masturbation excessively? What would that do to your energy, your focus, your relationships? Would it bring you closer to your goals or take you further away from them? These are the kinds of questions that Stoicism encourages us to ask. But here's the thing, the Stoics were never about perfection. They understood that life is full of challenges, temptations, and setbacks. The goal isn't to be perfect, it's to strive to be better, to develop a mindset that sees obstacles as opportunities for growth. So, if you find yourself slipping or struggling, don't beat yourself up. Instead, use it as a chance to reflect, learn, and improve. The real power of Stoicism lies in its ability to transform your mindset. By adopting this ancient wisdom, you can free yourself from the constant pull of impulse and instead focus on what truly matters. You can create the life you want, not by fighting against your desires, but by understanding them, mastering them, and channeling your energy toward things that align with your best self. So, to wrap up, I want you to think about this. You don't have to let habits, impulses, or external pressures control you. By embracing Stoicism, you take back the power to choose. And once you start making choices that align with your higher purpose, you'll find that your habits naturally begin to shift. You don't need to fight against yourself. You just need to focus on the bigger picture, keep your eyes on the goals that matter, and live a life that's grounded in wisdom, self-discipline, and virtue. Thanks for watching, and if this video resonated with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.